Hi there, and welcome to another episode of the Silver Screen Show. Thanks for joining us once again. As usual, I'm joined by Alenya.
Hi.
Hi, and my name's Abu. I don't know if I introduce myself. I always just let the tag
your name does it. The
yeah,
tag does it for you.
It feels weird introducing myself. I'll do it for once. I've noticed I never actually do that.
Unless somebody else is doing it.
Exactly. Right, before we go into our review, Alenya, you've had quite a busy week, right? You want to kind of tell all for a bit?
Yeah, so we didn't have a show last week. Instead, I went to the premiere, the UK premiere at Fright Fest of Eat Locals, which is a British film. It's got a massive British cast. So you've got Charlie Cox.
Daredevil.
Yeah, exactly. You've got Mackenzie Crook from Pirates of the Caribbean. You've got people like Eve Miles and Freema Agyeman and Ruth Jones and Annette Crosby, who are all on like massive British TV series. And then directing, you got Jason Fleming, who was in like Lock, Stock, Snatch, Extraordinary Gentleman, X-Men First
Very
Class.
British movies.
Yeah, he told me he's been in upwards of like 130 movies.
Is it?
And yeah, and he was really nice. Got to do an interview with him, interview with Annette Crosby.
We're going places, you know.
Yeah,
we're talking to actual people.
Meeting other bloggers,
Yeah.
met some really cool bloggers, Natasha Atlas and Guy Jeffries. And
shout outs to these guys.
Yeah, shout out to the guys. And they did some reviews for us as well afterwards. And it was a great movie. Like it's got like a £1.6 million budget. So it's really low.
Neymar makes it in like a day.
I know. But it was fantastic. And Jason Fleming was like, I asked him, how do you want people to take it? And he's like, it's not Tchaikovsky. It's £1 million budget.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Like, hopefully people like it. And we really liked it. The crowd loved it. They were cheering and laughing and having a great time.
Quickly, how did it feel to interview like a director? I'm assuming it's the first time you've interviewed
yeah,
someone like that.
it was kind of scary. I was a little bit nervous.
He seemed like a laid back kind of guy. You know?
He was really nice. I literally walked up to him and was like, hi, my name's Alenya from Silver Screen Show. Can I interview you? He was like, yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes.
Ah, lovely.
And then afterwards we had a chat. I was like, I'm sorry, but I was really nervous because I think you're really cool. And he was like, oh, you're so sweet. And then we just chatted there for a couple of minutes.
He didn't get triggered like the Kong director and went on a Mac. You knew what?
Oh, no. He knows.
You weren't afraid he was going to do one of those.
If you're making a film about vampires in a country farmhouse with the Vatican Special Forces, you know it's going to be just a little bit silly, a bit ridiculous.
The Vatican Special Forces.
Yeah, the army is sent by the Vatican to kill the vampires. And yeah, Tony Curran's in it. He's really good. There's a new kid, like he's been in some small films, Billy Crook, and he was really funny. Dexter Fletcher is amazing as well, and he was taking like silly selfies with us as well in the little meet and greet. So yeah, that was really cool.
So quickly before we move on, so when is this out, or is it out already? Or
I think it's having like small releases and then DVD release.
Okay,
fair enough. It's being like
it's not a
big
massive thing. So it's on Neymar's daily salary. Can't do much. That's great. And the full reviews on YouTube on our channel. So if you want to check it out,
I'll write a blog one as well.
Proper review.
And I have the time because also I went to see Terminator 2 in 3D.
Best film ever.
Fantastic movie. Watching it, I was like, oh, this gives this film so many more layers. And then I laughed at myself.
It's just 3D.
I'm hilarious. But it was really good. And then like everyone in the cinema had clearly seen it all before, and they were like,
no one's gonna be like, oh my days.
Yeah, they're like pre-laughing at the jokes.
T-1000 dies.
What?
T-800's a good guy.
And it was really great. And it just watching it and being like, this was made in '91.
Still stands up.
And it still stands up against anything that's coming out now.
So many levels as well.
So many.
And see what it's become. That Genesis rubbish.
Oh my god! It's kind of like with the Star Wars prequel trilogy. You just don't talk about
Genesis. Let's not talk about Genesis or Genesis, whatever.
Terminator 2 is great. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Terminator 1.
Who hasn't seen it? I mean, you say
I know people who haven't seen it.
What's wrong with them?
I know.
I never see it. Oh well, that's another whole different topic.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen it,
no, it's like Alien. We compared it to Alien and Aliens. Like the first one's a horror, the second one's like a bit funnier, a bit more of a thriller, and then the rest are bad.
Yeah. Let's talk about Fassbender Covenant, starring Fassbender, who saves the world from Fassbender.
Okay.
Right. It is pretty much just him.
Fassbender, starring Fassbender.
Right, so let's move on to the crux of the show. We've got 3 reviews coming up.
Yeah.
We'll try and run through them as quickly as possible. So first up is Logan Lucky. So this came out couple of weeks. I think last week.
Last week, yeah.
So brief recap: Logan Lucky Stars is a story about the Logan twins, Channing Tatum and Adam Driver. Their names I can't recall right now, so we'll just call them the Logan brothers.
Paying attention.
Yeah, we call them Logan brothers.
Okay.
So they're down on their luck. So with the help of their family and a few dodgy friends, they want to steal from the Charlotte Raceway. So they have the biggest, I think, the NASCAR race at the Charlotte Speedway, and that's their goal, to go and steal some money. So that's a basic, brief background, and it's directed by Steven Soderbergh, who's done a few other heist movies like Ocean's 11.
Oh, okay.
So I thought, you know what?
Yeah.
That's not bad. You know, I do like a heist movie. I think before we go into it, like heist movies in general is one of my favorite probably genres. I mean, Mission Impossible, love that. Inception is
more than Marvel.
Yeah, Mission Impossible, I love the whole heist things. You know, Ocean's 11 is great. Inception's one massive heist film.
Yeah.
So personally, like heist movies are probably one of my more interesting type of films I like. So whenever I see one of these come out, I'm like, gotta see it. So I've seen this one. So obviously you wanna ask me the questions and we'll lead on it like that.
Can we just call it Hot Logan Brother and Other Logan Brother?
Yo, that is one question. I'm like, are these guys related? It's a bit, I don't want to be harsh, but it's like Channing Tatum and then you got Adam Driver. Like, are they?
I don't know. In the trailer, everyone came across as a little dumb.
They're not dumb. They're kind of you can tell they're not Harvard educated. They just live in they live in, was it South Carolina or Virginia somewhere. They they live in that type of southern America. Yeah, deep south. Yeah, so they're doing local manual labor jobs, bartendering jobs. Sister works in the barbers. So yeah, they're not dumb. But
I've got to ask, Daniel Craig.
Yeah,
how is he?
Yeah, I was gonna say that one of the best parts of the movie is Daniel Craig, because he's just literally having a blast here. He's just like, I mean, we know him from the Bond movies, and it's just so intense and tight. And, that's the Craig you usually see now, isn't it? But this one, he's just letting free. He's loving it. It's just like, he's probably just the best part of the movie for sure.
Yeah, he comes across pretty crazy.
Yeah, he's playing like the crazy explosives guy. So, he's got a bit of, substance to work with. So, the role is criminal who likes explosives. So, there's a lot of craziness to work with there.
Yeah.
So, and bringing on, as you said, they're not the smartest of people, but what works here is like the brothers are you feel for them on an emotional level. You can see they're struggling. They're down on their luck. One of the brothers have an arm, the other brother has a limp, which causes him to lose his job, which is the reason why he goes on a heist.
Wait, he loses his job because he has a limp?
Due to insurance, the reason, like they say, he didn't say he had a limp, and America's got this weird insurance stuff, they say it's a pre-existing condition, he never mentioned it, so he loses his job, stuff like that. And then all the members of their family have had some sort of bad luck, hence why the Lucky Logan thing comes in. So like the best part is like, I really feel for the main two characters. Like, you got a reason to pull for them, you kind of want them to succeed. And if you don't want them to succeed, then you don't really feel the film.
Yeah.
Because I think if I bring it back to 888, which came out last year, it was a heist movie. I watched it, but you just did not like any of the characters there, and you just wanted them all to die. And when they all die, like, good, you deserved it. It's just like, you're all bad people. There's no reason.
Yeah, they're heist. You kind of want them to succeed in the heist.
And they're always kind of put in a way where they have some good intentions. Well, in 888, they're all bad people, and they all died. Like, good. Moving on. So I mean, that worked really well in this film. Channing Tatum was really well as it's a different role for him. He's not playing the usual good-looking, muscle-bound hero. He's more like just a dad. He's just a dad, who's working hard to look after his, daughter who only sees because he's divorced, every now and again. So emotionally it works well. What else do I have here? The humor. It's actually quite a funny film.
It does look funny.
It does. I don't want to ruin any of the jokes, but I mean, there is like one of them it's based on Game of Thrones basically. So if you follow Game of Thrones, you'll love it. I'm not sure how well that joke will age, to be honest.
Yeah.
When you watch it like 10 years down the road, if it's still being watched 10 years down the road. But I mean, it's got a few scenes, and Daniel Craig's got a few lines for sure. He really has the best lines and parts of the movie. So all of that I loved. Hating or downsides.
Yeah. What are your negatives about it?
I think the main one is the villain. So I mean, there really isn't a pure villain in this.
No.
So I mean, you got the Speedway, which is where they're trying to break into, but they're never really ever portrayed as an evil corporation that you want to steal from. And like the villain is supposed to be Seth MacFarlane's character, who is he's like a cocky businessman. Yeah. And like we meet him first scene, he's in the bar and he starts a fight. He's like, I'm rich, look how rich I am, don't you know who I am? That kind of smug guy. And like But even then, he gets a bit of his comeuppance, but it's never really like part of the whole plot of the film. It just kind of happens, some bad things happen to him and kind of feel, oh, that happened.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really like a main villain. Like, you didn't feel satisfied when his thing happened. So I think that's where the film kind of lacked a main villain. So it kind of affected.
Yeah, you need a bit of like a contrast between
Yeah.
the people who you're rooting for to go and finish the heist, and then the people
Like
that
in
they're stealing from.
like Ocean's 11, like you had the casino owner, so you just didn't like the guy. So he was the villain. They're robbing him.
Yeah.
So you kind of feel, I want to see this guy go down. Whereas this one, there really wasn't a villain per se. It's just like, we want the money, and it's like,
And it's this guy's money, and
this guy's a bit of an idiot. Yeah, let's laugh at him. I mean, he plays a clown, but he never really is bad enough for them to do this whole operation in. So I think that was the biggest negative I had. It's like, he's never had a strong antagonist. And probably the one other thing is, it really drags on a lot.
Yeah.
Like the second half, the last third is just totally dragged on.
Yeah.
Like, so they do all the heist, all that business is done. The last 20 minutes is just basically an investigation following the FBI, and just adds nothing to the storyline.
Yeah.
It's
like they win, they go with the money, and done.
Whatever happens is, they do the heist. The heist is over. They show how they do it. They have the usual, pattern. But then the last 20 minutes is like an investigation part. And it's just like, they introduce Hilary Swank as one of the a really aggressive police officer.
Okay.
Like, she's really intense for some reason, and she's in it, and they just pad it on for the last 20 minutes, and like, this adds nothing. It adds nothing to the storyline. Nothing new. No new revelations come out of it. And the only thing they really do it for is to bait an opener, bait a sequel. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, do you really just do this to put her in a potential second film?
Yeah.
Because they could have ended it as it was, and they could have still been.
It does seem like a standalone movie.
Yeah, I mean, it could have worked. I mean, they could have worked a sequel into it regardless. They could just say something popped up, but they didn't really need to add all this in it, and I think that really pushes along a bit too much. Because it comes about 2 hours, and it's not really a film that's a 2-hour epic.
No.
But I think the good sides outweigh the negatives. It's hilarious. It's just fun. It's the characters are all charming. Even Adam Driver, he has one up for the entire film, and he's not all there in the head.
Yeah.
So he's very he kind of this guy, man, I feel for this guy. Hope he works out for him. Same with Channing Tatum. All the characters work well. It's funny. But
So 3-word review.
3-word review: charming and fun. Definitely check it out.
fun.
If you love a heist film, check it out, definitely. And I think it's worth it just for Daniel Craig's performance.
Yeah.
This is utterly
just
insane.
to see him doing something a little bit different than Bond.
Instead of just sulking, like, I want to kill myself, being Bond.
Bond. James Bond.
And being angry.
I mean, angry Bond.
Yeah, it just shows you, he can do a lot more than just what he's known for.
Yeah.
So definitely check it out.
Cool.
Alright, so part 2, moving on. American Made. So I think this was your film. So you want to open it, or shall I?
Yeah, so I can do a bit of an overview.
Yeah.
We got it's based on a true story about Barry Seal, who is a pilot, and he's working for TWA airline, which runs over America.
And a pilot.
He's a pilot in
He's
an
a
airline,
pilot.
and he's bored. Like, he's the youngest pilot of the airline, and he gets approached by the CIA to
Do some stuff.
do stuff for the
Do
CIA, like taking
Legal stuff.
aerial photos, and then he gets into running drugs and guns.
As you do.
As you
It
do,
happens.
if you start working for the CIA, apparently. So he starts working for the for Pablo Escobar and the cartel that he's involved with and stuff.
Easy path to have, easy way to fall into that stuff.
Yeah, very very easy. Especially when the CIA is just handing you a plane and handing you a runway and an airport. It makes things very easy.
Credentials, man, guys got credentials.
Yeah, I mean, obviously things go pear-shaped and it doesn't end as happily as you'd want it to, but that's kind of a given if you're going to be running drugs and guns for people. So we've got director Doug Liman, who did Edge of Tomorrow, Born Identity, Ultimatum and Supremacy.
To be honest, I just googled that before the show and thought, whoa, that's...
He's got quite a resume going on.
Edge of Tomorrow is one of my best films of the recent years, so high hopes for this. hopefully.
And we've got the main cast would be Tom Cruise, Sarah Wright, who was in like 21 and Over, House Bunny, a lot of chick flicks and rom-coms that you probably might not have seen. And then Donald Gleeson, who's I think he's actually
name.
He's a British actor. He was in like Ex Machina.
Isn't Revenant? Pretty sure he was.
He was in Revenant. Yeah, he was also Bill Weasley in Harry Potter. And he was really good. He was the CIA agent Schaefer, and it was alright.
Wow.
Like there was no excitement. I was sitting through the whole film. There was a couple of laughs, and it's the kind of laughs where you go.
Let's be honest. Is it worth Tom Cruise being in it, or could have this been done by anyone?
It could have been someone else. But the thing is, like going into it, thinking it's Tom Cruise, it's Doug Liman. Both of them have a really great kind of action, exciting.
Yeah, I mean they work well together in Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah,
together,
exactly.
So.
Like they have this great history, but it just kind of fell short in that respect. It was the whole film was like here. There was no dynamic to it whatsoever. There was no like overly excited. There was no change in pace. There was not a lot of excitement to it. I mean, I know that it's on a true story, so you're kind of restricted in that sense. But still, it could
make up bits of it to make it into a film.
Yeah, like I wouldn't fabricate too much.
Yeah,
but
every film does it.
Make something a little bit more, something a little bit less. Like, but it was just
that.
I think the way it was paced, because it was just so samey all the way through.
Does the drug cartel stuff ever get serious, or does it? Do you ever feel like this might turn the movie upside down once it gets in, or does that threat never really there?
I can't spoil it.
Yeah. But at any point, do you ever feel this could get serious out of hand? And you feel like
actually there is one bit where I think it's actually in the trailer where they've got guns pointed at their heads and stuff, and that's the one bit, and even then you're like,
and it's in the trailer as well, so it's like
but even then you're sitting there and you're going, nothing's going to happen, and because there's no suspense, there's no tension, and
considering you're working in the DEA investigating Escobar's cartel, there's got to be some element of danger in it. You expect it, innit?
Yeah, because he starts off with the CIA and then goes to the DEA. Also, like running cocaine.
So obviously, so you're expecting some sort of thrills from this kind of storyline.
I just kind of left like, it was alright. Like maybe watch it if it comes out on Netflix
or ITV2.
Well, you know what? It probably will.
ITV2 is what
it just wasn't really enough excitement, and I think last year. The Infiltrator came out with Bryan Cranston and Brad Furman as the director, and that was fantastic. I watched it recently on Now TV, and that was great. That was
I never got around to seeing it, but
it's really gripping. It's not as actiony, because obviously you've got a lot of.
It's more like a documentary kind of.
Like with this one, you've got a lot of time in the air in planes, and even then, it's not really exciting. And he's being shot at. By like anti-aircraft guns, and still you're like, I don't know. It just had no spice to it. But Infiltrator,
you could call it a coma if it was a car. Just.
I mean, I like.
Fair enough. It's objective. It's an objective metaphor.
It was like coconut milk.
Coconut milk.
But the Infiltrator is really good because it's not like action-packed, but it's really gripping, and you really start to care about the characters. So then when
so in this review of this film, you're suggesting another film.
Yes, I am.
Fascinating.
I really am.
Right. Yeah. So it looks like you clearly just like bruh. So if you want to wrap it up.
It just needed more excitement.
Bit of spice, bit of kick to it. Yeah, just lacking that
spark.
You think maybe Tom Cruise as well, because he usually brings. The action side of it usually he brings.
I mean, he's letting me down this year with like
don't
Mummy.
say the Mummy.
I am gonna say it, the Mummy, and this. Like this was better than the Mummy.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
But that's like the boss sitting like down there, trying to beat the Mummy.
Yeah. I'd just say it's very, very average.
It's just like a 60%. Just
it
won't offend you.
It's just here.
You won't offend you, but you won't love it. It's just you watch it.
Yeah, you watch it if you're like bored and you're flipping through your phone at the same time.
Oh yeah, like what's on the cinema?
I was sad that I couldn't get my phone out in the cinema because I was
wonderful.
Yeah. So moving on to the third film, Detroit.
Yes, Detroit. So this is another film based on a true story.
Lots of them at the moment.
Yeah, but this film does have a disclaimer at the end saying we did dramatize parts of it. So which is fair enough, yeah. So Alice doesn't try to be cheating or this all happened. So that's nice of Catherine Bigelow to drop in at the end just to say, you know what, some of it we did just spice up for a film. And
See, that is what American Made needed.
Yeah, that would give them the excuse, innit, for that little disclaimer at the end.
Exactly.
We did lie a bit. Just he did not fight.
But it made the film better, so it's fine. So sorry, carry on.
So yeah, this takes place during the Detroit riots, as the name says. So one thing of this movie actually doesn't. The Detroit riots don't really play much of a element in this. So this happens as like. So basically, this goes into an investigation called the Algiers Motel incident.
Okay.
It happened during the riots, so it's a true story. But this is like an isolated incident. So where it happened within this one hotel, the police raided it because they suspected something was happening, and they ended up with 3 unarmed black men were murdered or killed. So what they murdered, what they killed, we don't know. So that's the whole mystery of this.
Yeah.
So this film looks into what happened that night in that motel. So that's what it's about. So like I said, I mean, Catherine Bigelow, she's good at doing drama. I mean, Hurt Locker, and she's done Zero Dark 30. So doing those type of gritty.
They were really good.
Yeah, so doing those type of gritty dark movies, she's got a hand on doing them. I think she does the same here. Like what works here is so intense. Like even though the film takes place pretty much in just the motel for the majority of it, like you can feel the intensity and just like the fear, because it's not just obviously you got the whole race issues happening. So you got the black people feeling victimized, but you also see like just like the intensity on the other side. The police, you can see they're working on a different level, so they're not working rationally. This whole incident has made them work in a way wouldn't work as. They're shooting random people, but which they wouldn't have done if it was a normal situation. So you can tell both sides are feeling very heavily conflicted by the situation. So that's what she does really well in that sense. You can see the police they are not good guys, they're bad guys, but they can still see why they are the way they are, because they are in this pressure cooker of a situation. And emotions are running high. Yeah,
you're getting told one thing and then you see other things.
And people are shooting at you and they don't know what they should do. Should I shoot back? So that is what works really well. What else do I have here? Yeah, the guy who plays like the villain, he's just like so hateable. He does a great job. Like he's like the racist white cop. Basically, that's his job. That's his job. He's the racist white cop. Like the other cops are kind of coerced into doing stuff because of him. Like you can see they're not really comfortable doing this whole intimidation thing, but he's just like, I don't care how, I need to solve this case right now. Even though it looks like this case might not be as open as he thinks, he doesn't care. He just wants to end it all. And his name was it Will Poultner? Will Poultner? I'm not sure what he's been in before. He's been in Maze Runner, I think, or something like that. He's got like thin eyebrows. So if you long thin eyebrows.
Oh, is he the funny looking guy? He was in Narnia.
Yes, Narnia. That's one. Yeah, that's Narnia.
He's useless in Narnia. Oh, he is so punchable.
And he cranks it up to like 150 here, man. And I just hate. I just hate you so much.
Yeah.
Like he is such. We can't swear, but he's just such. Like you just want him to get his comeuppance at the end of the film, because he's such a bad guy to these innocent men.
Yeah, but you gotta make him like that.
Exactly, and that's what he does really well. And like I saw an interview with him, he's just like thinking, how do I play this role? Because it's a difficult role. How do you play a racist? You can't sometimes pick up a book.
It must be really hard because, like, especially in the kind of time that we're in at the moment, especially in America, it's like, can I say this stuff? Is it okay?
Thing is, this kind of stuff's still happening now, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
You think this is back in 1960s?
Is it set in?
Yeah, 19. It could easily take place
now.
Yeah, so the film does really want to show the insight of how things were back then, and it does use stock footage as well of the actual riots that happened.
I like it when they do that.
And it really is based on so the film follows this band called the Dramatics. They're like a vocal quartet, or the quartet, I think they're 4 or 5, and it follows their journey. So they actually got caught up in this incident, but in the film only 2 of them do. But I was reading up on the incident on Wikipedia, and they all happened to be there actually.
This is what I did for Dunkirk.
Yeah, so they all happened to be there actually at this incident. They all got caught up in it. And they went on to have a successful career, actually, having to suffer all of this, which is kind of a
silver lining.
Yeah, so wow,
I think that makes a good true story movie if you actually go and look up about the real life event.
Yeah,
and you want to know.
Actually, they lived through that, and they didn't let it beat them. Kind of moved on. I think one of the parts that was a bit tricky for me was John Boyega's character. I mean, he does great in it.
Yeah.
But he's not in it as much as I thought he'd be in it. He's very much a secondary character. But he's on all the posters, the trailer.
Being in Star Wars doesn't get you everywhere.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, he's the face of the movie, but I kind of feel like he's like a side character. You follow him, but he never really does anything.
He's a marketing ploy.
Yeah, he really is. Like, I mean, he has a good scenes. The interrogation scene's really well done. Like the way he witnesses everything happening and knowing he can't do anything, you can feel. But and then there's like his character. I mean, he could have been in it, but I don't think. I mean, they used the actor they used clearly to hype up the character, but it could have been played by any actor, to be honest, to fill that. Like, it didn't really have to be him, because because he brings a lot more than is really needed for this role. Because a few of the other characters in the household are a lot more important to the scenes, and maybe he could have been put into one of those scenarios. Because the film does become kind of like a horror movie, to be honest.
Really?
In a sense, because going into it, people die, and the description says 3 dead bodies are found, so 3 people are going to die at the end of this, like by the end of this night. And kind of wonder who's going to die, and I honestly did not know who's going to. And one dies off the bat, so he's dead.
Yeah.
The other two, like, hey, who can it be? And the film does really well to kind of put in a way that you don't ever know which character they could kill.
Do they bait you to think it's somebody else?
I mean, they do. I mean, like, you got Anthony Mackie's in it, right? So you think he's too big of an actor for them to just kill off.
Yeah.
But you honestly think they could do it. I'm not going to say what happens, but you think they could. If they want to kill him, if they will do it. They're not scared. So that's what it's a really good job to do that, because you think main character, big actor, then they won't die. But any of them, it's weird. It feels like a horror film for some reason. It did not really feel like it was more for like a crime drama. But it ends up in some weird, like, which one of you dies next? Like, it feels like
really crossing a completely different genre.
Yeah. It suddenly becomes like, whoa, what is this? Is this like a thriller from the trailers? It suddenly it's like, I want to kill one of you guys next. Which one's going to die?
It's a Saw.
Is it Saw? Yeah. Jigsaw. A racist Jigsaw, man. That's what probably
that shouldn't be a thing.
Well, I mean, what else do I have? There are a few plot holes in it, which is a bit disturbing. Like, it does bug you a bit. It's like the whole thing that starts off this incident is a gun. And they never find the gun. You never know what happened to the gun. It just disappears, even though there was a gun there.
Yeah.
They never explain what happened to the gun. There might be a scene where they got rid of it, but it's very dark, so you never really see much. So you don't really feel, wait, did he throw it away? But it's just like, that's a big plot hole. Like, what happened to this gun? The whole thing happened because of this gun.
Wait until the deleted scenes come out.
The director's cut. Yeah. Another thing was, the name of the film was a bit weird. It really should be called Algiers or something like that.
Yeah.
Or the motel incident or something too. Because there really isn't much Detroit in here.
Detroit's a bit more punchy than
the
motel incident.
It does show how the riot started.
Yeah.
That's actually true. Like, I did my cross-reference on Wiki. That is actually how the riots did start. So they cover that.
Research.
But apart from that, they don't really show much else into it. But it is definitely a film worth watching. I think it's really well done. The cinematography is excellent. Like, you feel every scene. It's done in a way like it's got a bit of shaky cam involved, so you can kind of see. Shaky cam's a bit tricky. Sometimes it just feels like a cheap way to.
It is a bit cheap.
Yeah, but this one's it's got like the whole made feel to it. Like, you're there. Someone's recording it. All these suspects.
More Cloverfield.
Yeah. Rather than just like, oh, look at their fighting. So, and our characters are great. Like, the acting is amazing because quite a few actors are really young. In their teens, and to do that kind of role, which is an intense role. Subjugation. Yeah. Police brutality. To play that.
It's quite.
Without coming off as corny.
Yeah,
it's
quite serious.
Yeah, it's serious. So it's a film that is very slow. I'll say that. So if you're expecting a bit more Detroit riots, like people burning things, it's not that kind of movie. But if you know what it's going to be like, you'll enjoy it. It's definitely, definitely go and check it out if you like that kind of thing. I'm not going to say it's an action-packed film, though the trailers do kind of push it in that direction, in a sense.
I mean, the trailer I saw for it was in the motel with the like band and everything, and I think they accidentally set off a gun or something as a joke, and then the police turn up and they're like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? And so it sounds pretty good. But what's your 3 words?
My 3 words of review is drama with horror.
Drama with horror.
A weird horror.
What's not to love?
Yeah, I mean, you love it. I liked it, but it does, and it does show insight into what the world was like, and frankly what it is right now, to be honest. So I had kind of a bit of irony watching this film going, it hasn't really changed.
We should have moved on, but we haven't.
We haven't, but let's not go into that political drama. That is for the after.
We watch film.
We watch film.
About it, we are happy.
This is a news night.
This is not.
I don't want no comments from like the Secretary of Defense and take down your video. Why are you picking me for, man?
I think you're aiming high as to who's watching.
US Secretary of Defense. Hi guys, if you are watching.
Hi in the White House.
Right, yeah, that brings us to a close. I think we did quite well. About 35 minutes, I'm gonna say. Not too bad.
We're doing better.
We're doing better, and yeah, hope you enjoyed the show. Next week, will there be a next week? I'm not too sure, to be honest. There might be.
Well, I want to watch it, so I hope there's gonna be.
When's Kingsman now? Is that out next week?
I think Kingsman might be the 15th of September.
Is it? That looks amazing.
That looks great.
It for sure. You can do you can come in and just do it.
I'll just be here by myself. Hi, I want to talk about it, or maybe just do a live video from my room.
Actually, Mo should be back. Actually.
Yeah.
Our baller of the group.
Our baller.
Right. So yeah, enjoy and take care. Good night.
Good weekend.